Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the live stream Q&A. I gotta wait a few minutes or seconds or whatever, try to get some people in here before we get started. Of course, we'll do the usual announcements, and then we'll get into the questions. So if you have any questions, or if you're new to the channel, we do one of these live streams every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come in, ask your questions, get them answered. I try to go through pretty quickly and try not to fall behind, but I tend to do that. Audio's good. Thanks, Scott. Let me get over here to the other page and turn off my own voice. That sounds good. Now, understand there is a little bit of a delay in the chat, so I try to get to everybody's questions. Sometimes I skip some because I scroll all the way down. It just happens. So if your question doesn't get answered, then and you feel like I've skipped it, go ahead and put it back in the comment section, and we'll take care of it. So, Anyway, so when it comes to announcements, you guys know that. The sale, I posted a photo on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. The buy one get one free SPS sale is going to end tonight at what is it? What time is it? I think I have it set to end at 11:59 p.m. Basically, at that point, you won't be eligible to get that buy one get one free. And clarify that it's only for corals that have it in the title. Buy one, get one free. Basically, just check out with one, and I will add the second one during the shipping process. And so there was a little bit of miscommunication on that. Some people thought it was 3D printing. Some people thought that it went into frag packs and all that kind of stuff. Nope. You'd be out of your mind to think I was going to give you 10 free frags for buying 10 of them. No, it's in the charity event over here. But anyway, that sale is going to end at midnight. Prices will probably kind of go back to normal. I am still trying to clear out a lot of coral, so the prices will still be relatively low, but understand the buy one get one free is not going to be there anymore. So, yep. Anyway, so if you have any questions, feel free to put that stuff in the comment section. We'll get started. I know it takes a couple minutes for this chat to ramp up with notifications. I still haven't even gotten the notification on my phone. And yes, I do subscribe to myself because I like to, I'm narcissistic. Oh, there we go. It just came through. But anyway, let's go and get started. That was the notification for the chat. So, okay. All right. First question. What is your recommended process for establishing new frags and mounting in a display? Leave on plugs or remove immediately. Also, how long to acclimate before mounting them? Okay, so this really comes down to where did you purchase your coral? For me, I have a pretty good description on what the coral itself is sitting in regarding light. So if you're matching that in your tank, acclimation isn't something that you'll have to do as long as you have an idea of what par range you are putting that coral in. Now, when it comes to adding frag plugs, I never add frag plugs to a display tank. I always cut the coral off at the base. You want to put that coral in quarantine. Most people do, but I never add a frag plug. So if I was going to bypass the quarantine and just put that stuff in my tank, I would cut off the frag plug and then glue it directly where the par matched where it came from, or at least within 100 or 200, kind of close. The last thing I want to do is buy an SPS that was sitting at 150, which I don't know too many people who are selling SPS that are sitting in 150 par, and then throw it at like 800. That's going to be a problem. You're not going to want to do that. So just kind of know where you're buying your stuff. And I do recommend, of course, quarantining everything. Even from me, quarantine coral. You should get in the habit of doing it. I don't have any real pests in this tank, but it's still a good habit to get into, and it's not going to hurt. A lot of people struggle with quarantine coral because it's essentially another tank that you got to keep track of and take care of. But trust me, when I was importing coral back before we took that system down last year, I got a lot of stuff in from overseas, and a lot of that stuff had aptasia, had flatworms, nudibranchs, red bugs, you name it, it was on there. I even got the dreaded acropore eating flatworms at one point when I brought that stuff in. Now, granted, none of that ever went into the main display, so it's not really a real issue for me, but it definitely cost me a lot of money. So, quarantining is definitely something you should do. Long-winded on that question. It's going to move down. Gotta go somewhere quick for a better RODI. Hopefully, I'll catch you when you are still on. Yeah. Yep. No problem, man. Yeah, love the stream with a 300 gallon. Yeah, this is this video is actually 2 months or 3 months before I actually overhauled it. So it's not at its full potential. I do have some pictures of what it looked like before I actually started cutting it, and now it's just kind of empty. So this video is just going to be one that kind of plays in the background from this point forward, just because it's the only video I have of it. And yeah, so it's better than nothing, I guess. How has it been having your buddy here helping you full time? Well, he only worked 1 day last week, so he had other stuff going on. So, but it's nice having somebody here, and we got to make some adjustments to the schedule and kind of work things out. I know in Pennsylvania there's only a certain amount of money that you pay until you're in the system, so we just got to go through QuickBooks and get all that stuff set up. So it's a little bit of a process, but overall it's good to have him here. I feel like I get more done when he's here, just because we're always working, because we're on the clock at that point. When I'm here just by myself, I'm like, well, I could do this, or this, or this. So let me do the easiest thing first. And with him here, it's just like, we're going to get it done and move forward. So it's nice. It's nice. Did you buy new shoes? Yeah, I do. I have 3 pairs of shoes. I'm actually wearing these shoes called indestructible shoes. I got them on Amazon for like, I don't know, $50 or something. And they're steel toe. And they're not so indestructible because the heel's kind of ripped out of them. And my feet eat shoes. I don't know why it's been like that. I went through 2 pairs of boots in Afghanistan. And my first set, before I got rid of them, my right toe was hanging out the side of the boot. And I was like, yeah, probably time to upgrade those. And so I burned through 2 pairs in such a short period of time. But yeah, the ones that you guys saw in that photo, I was actually at the archery shop, and I looked down. I'm like, oh, there it is. There's my toe hanging out of my shoe. My bad. So that was pretty funny. Try to do what I can for a laugh, right? Are you ever going to sell heads of torch? Yep, at some point. Hopefully soon. It just kind of depends on when we get around to taking down the 40 breeder and putting up the new system. It's just a lot of stuff in the works right now. The process that I'm going through, going through getting the land. Anybody who's bought a house, I know that the process sucks, but finding land, building on that land, getting everything all set, going through that whole process, and then dealing with the government at the same time, it's very, very stressful. So my brain is kind of in that direction right now, even though I have such a long time. But I did talk to a couple of builders, and we could start the process in January, and it would still take 9 months or so to build the house, depending on what we go with. So so knowing that, the time frame on how long it could take, I'm debating on if I want to start cutting the Reef tank right now, just because I do have a little bit more growth time in it. I mean, the tank still looks empty. The 300 still looks like it has almost nothing in it, but it's still be able to grow it a little bit more than just cutting it out. I mean, who would actually tear down an entire system a year before they're going to move? I mean, what kind of idiot would do that, right? I mean, you're losing all that potential growth, all that money that you could be making. So you'd have to be a complete moron to tear down a system a year before you plan on moving. So, I don't know. I just not very smart. So, yeah. So someday we'll have torches. We just kind of go with the flow right now, Gabe. I'm just there's so much going on that I'm just kind of just getting through it at this point. Looking forward to next month. I'm looking forward to the 3rd of October, where I can just be in the woods. I mean, I'm so ready for a vacation. It's not even funny, but I do enjoy this stuff. I just, everyday things kind of, they add up after a while. So as everybody knows, it just happens. So moving down so I did a 10-gallon frag tank with the Kessel 130 Tuna Blue. Do you suggest no dosing this size tank? My magnesium 1130 DKH 7.6 salinity. Okay, so your phosphates are fine, and they're still acceptable. Your salinity is fine. Your DKH is fine. Your magnesium is pretty low. Try to get that up to 1350, 1400. So, yeah, just I mean, you don't really need a dose. What I would say, Jason, is depending on what corals you have in there is going to depend on how quickly your alkalinity. I would say focus on your alkalinity. If you find that it's kind of going down over a week, then maybe do a 10% water change, 20% water change every week or every other week to help keep those levels stabilized. I don't know what salt you use or anything like that. If you say you're using the blue box from from Fritz, which has a standard level of DKH, and you find that you don't want to dose, so maybe move into the red box that has a little bit higher DKH or alkalinity. So, and then just do water changes to keep those parameters stable. But it's your call. I mean, you're not really going to know until you kind of see how things progress and how things grow and how much they use up. But the easiest solution would just be doing water changes. It also keeps your nutrients in check. So, but yeah. When you're going to start the 1,000 gallon tank build? It's going to be a while, man. I mean, I said man. I didn't mean to say. I say man to everybody. Don't get offended by it. It's going to be a while because, like I said previously, this question was probably already up. But say we start the process in January, it could take upwards of 9 months to build the whole thing. Now it could be done before then. Once we move into the new house, that's when the entire process starts. That's when we order the tank. So say it takes 9 months. So we're at September of next year. All right. Well, it's going to take several months for the tanks to be built. So, I mean, the next build could potentially start in 2022. I mean, that's not unrealistic to think that. So between now and then, I'm just going to use what I have and keep growing coral, keep creating videos, share my information with you guys, and go along for the ride. Can something change between now and then, and we can start the system up, or maybe I relocate to a temporary solution, which is something that I've kind of debated. Is I really don't. I mean, the situation I have here is fine, but I got some funky neighbors, and I got some. The situation just isn't ideal. All right, so I'm even half tempted to maybe rent a house out in the boonies and just putting the 300 up for a while, maybe just doing a couple small tanks for the sake of having some tanks and continuing to sell coral. That's something that's not going to stop. I enjoy selling coral and 3D printing, all that stuff. But it's all going to depend on kind of what happens over the next few months in the beginning of next year. I'm always thinking of backup plans and solutions just in case. But realistically, sometime between a year and a half from now, we should be starting the new build, which seems like a long ways out, but honestly, it's really not that far. I'm getting long-winded here. What am I at? Yeah, I'm already 10 minutes behind. What's up, guys? Hey, Terry. What's up, Travis? Looking forward to new build. Yeah, me too, man. I'm looking forward to a change. Just in, I'm just that type of personality. Believe it or not, my mother, when I was growing up, used to change the furniture around in the house every couple weeks. I mean, I don't do that personally. I don't like moving stuff around like that, but I do like new things and change. But yeah, she used to do that every couple weeks. And I never understood why. I guess I could dive into it someday, but yeah. Yeah. I have a 13-gallon tank and I'm interested in a new one. What do you recommend? Well, I mean, if you want to go a little bit bigger, that probably, I'm guessing that's what you want. You want a new, bigger tank. I don't know too many people who are upgrading from a 13-gallon to a 13-gallon. Well, I need more information. I don't know what you currently have. I know you said 13-gallon is an all-in-one. Maybe do you have a 50-gallon sump hooked up to your 13-gallon display? I mean, I doubt that. But, I mean, what do you got going on now? I mean, I can't really recommend too much based on that. I would say for anybody looking to go, upgrade, just go as big as you can afford and what you can fit in your house and what you feel comfortable managing. Bigger is always better, and that's what she said. All right, moving on. Hey, Travis, hope all is well. Yes, the VA loan is good. No down payment, just praying you get a good contractor. Yeah, I've been bouncing through contractors. I have a house layout blueprint that I paid for, and I paid a lot for it. I want this specific house, so I got to find somebody who's willing to work with that. So, it's a process, man. I hate it. I wish that I could just find somebody and be like, here, I will pay you per hour to do all of this work for me because I don't know where to start, and it gives me a giant freaking headache. So if you know anybody, hit me up, man. Send me some information, fishofhex@gmail.com, because I will pay somebody to do this for me. It's extremely stressful. And you feel like you think starting a reef tank's difficult, finding the land, getting it set up, and then going through that whole process, man, screw that. And boy, there's got to be somebody out there. There's got to be somebody that you can find that will do it all for you and just like, hey, yo, I'll take a cut of it. Just do everything. I'll tell you, if you can't tell, I'm frustrated by it, but it is what it is. I'll get through it. My vote is to let it grow out more. LL, yes, a complete moron would do that. Yeah, we got a little inside joke going here. If you're part of the community, you already know what I'm talking about. It's pretty funny, though. I'm about to get a drink here. But gotta love deer pizza. I'm telling you, man, deer pizza was amazing. Amazing, right, Scott? Oh my God, deer pizza. Oh man, I can't wait. I freaking love just deer in general. Deer tacos every week. That's what we eat right now. So I mean, I'll eat deer anything. Acropora eating flatworms follow up. I fragged every single thing I could, over 200 frags now, and I in a small QT tank. I am shipping every 5 days. Siphon. Okay, every 5 days. While my display starts out, probably gonna reboot around Christmas. So effing mad, dude. Acropora eating flatworms are the devil. I wouldn't wish. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Okay, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Debt there. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's awful. They are. I mean, oh my God, dude. I've lost so much money. I like I mentioned before, I used to buy colonies of straight Acropora colonies because a guy that I used to work with was like, hey man, just buy these colonies, cut them up. You know, you might get maybe a 10% death, but you can sell them for like $50-$60. They come in as random acro colonies. Yeah. What's not random is the fact that you get Acropora eating flatworms and you wipe out that whole colony and then every single frag in your entire tank. The amount of money I lost from them, and you obviously know, Glenn. Yeah, it's damn. I mean, Glenn, if it was me, I would set up a quarantine tank. I would save small frags of what I really like for my tank, just 1 or 2 of each, just to make sure they get through quarantine, and then I would toss everything else out. I would get rid of all the rock, everything else. I just throw it in the trash, man. And I know that sounds bad because it is coral, it is living animal, but those worms are going to eat them. They're going to eat them anyways. So I would get a couple frags higher, more towards the tips, and then of course I would inspect them underneath. I do have the magnifying glass here. I would inspect them thoroughly to make sure, and of course put them through quarantine to make sure there's no Acropora eating flatworms, and I would just chuck everything out. Don't even worry about the reboot. Just get rid of everything and then just start from scratch. Don't save anything. Sterilize the tank. Let it run with fresh water for a little while, even vinegar. Just clean out everything. Nope, shit. If you can, just throw the whole freaking tank in the dump. Buy a new tank, man. Those things are awful. Oh, God. I'm sorry you're going through that. I am a guy, by the way. My sister made this account using my Gmail. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Do 3.5 week tank. Fake rocks started off Dr. Tim's bacteria, 2 clowns, 2 firefish. What equipment should I have running now? I have Clarity UV skimmer ALR. Don't want to bottom out. Okay. So it's 3.5 weeks, so it's a month old. You got fake rock, so start off with Dr. Tim. So fake rock, do you mean like dry rock or fake? Like the rock that somebody just made together in their barn or something? I mean, what do you mean by fake rock? Like plastic rock, like the stuff you get that was on that show. Those guys used to build reef tanks for people, and it was on for all those famous people. That kind of fake rock. I don't really know what you mean, but either way, so the Dr. Tim's bacteria is definitely good. You're building up your beneficial bacteria. Ideally, you would want to cure your rock, regardless if it's fake or not, but you obviously bypass that. Now, what equipment should I be running? So you should have your skimmer running. Your UV is fine. If you didn't, I don't know if you quarantine your fish or anything like that. And then you're going to want to make sure that your nutrients don't bottom out. So, you can feed the fish, but also make sure that the bacteria is good enough. You're not having pneumonia. I almost said pneumonia. Ammonia spikes. Of course, you want to test these things. The tank is only 4 weeks old, so it's going to go through fluctuations. It's still relatively new. But, as long as your skimmer's running, UV's running, and then just make sure your nutrients don't bottom out. And then also that you're not adding any more fish anytime soon. I'd let those 4 sit for a few months before starting to add any more. But, you seem fine. Just keep an eye on your parameters. when you start selling some high-end corals? I can't buy everything from you and not worry as much. Yeah, hopefully. Well, I'm not adding any more coral to the system until we start up the new one, so it's going to be a while. It's just a waiting game at the moment. So, but yeah, I mean, the new setup, everything is gonna, this course is gonna go through quarantine, 1 to 2 months worth of quarantine for coral alone. And they're going to be, of course, going through frags, and I mean the process is going to take a while. It's going to be a bit till we're selling a significant amount of coral out of the new setup. Again, it just takes time. I'm not really going to want to cut a lot of colonies until they start touching each other, just like I did in here. So it takes time. But yeah, higher end stuff will be coming once we get going. I think he already said that. Okay, yeah, he put that in there twice. What are the LED light strips on your Chaeto? They're Reef Brights. They're mixed, hot and cold, or it's I think it's 2500K and 6500K. They're mixed freshwater lights from Brief Right. Brief Right. Yep. They came with a sump from Geo, so that's all I know. I know they work. Hey, Travis, random question. What is your opinion on the external overflow boxes? Which is best in your opinion? So, talking about, I guess, external as in not hangover. So, we'll just address that first. I don't do hangover. I know that's not proper English. I just don't do hangover. Nope. Not messing with that. Seen a lot of people ruin a lot of floors. Not worth it, man. It's not worth it. So, as for external overflow boxes, I use the H2 Overflow from customaquariums.com, and I love the thing. It's awesome. No issues whatsoever. I've used the Ghost Overflow. Is it Synergy Reef Ghost Overflow? I want to say I've used that in a couple clients' tanks. Worked out really good. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, if you want something that's good quality, Custom Aquariums is probably your best bet. It's not the cheapest overflow, but as with everything, it's a pretty major part of your tank, so you kind of want to spend the money on it. Should I start breeding clownfish? I don't know if you want to. If you like breeding clownfish, not my forte. Where did you get the Lowboy frag tank? Other suggestions on shallow frag tanks? The Lowboys I got at a local fish store, that fish place in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Before that, I got them from Brian, my buddy who passed away. He got them directly from ZooMed because he had an account with them. But since his passing, I've been just kind of getting them from that fish place. And they don't always have them. And if I could give you a suggestion, don't get Lowboys. They're just too fragile. They just are. I broke so many of them. Granted, I did bounce them off walls and doors, and but the last one I broke was just me touching the PVC at the bottom of the system, and I didn't touch it very hard. So yeah, I would pass on Lowboys if you can. I know that Deep Blue is no longer. I think Scott was telling me this. The Deep Blue, that 40-gallon shallow reef, they don't. They're not a company anymore. I think they sold their company to somebody else, which then just stopped making the tanks. I'm pretty sure, Scott, if you can confirm that or deny that in the comment section. But yeah, so I really don't know a specific glass frag tank that you should go with. I do know a lot of people who use acrylic frag tanks, and they turn out fine. So if you know a good person who can build a acrylic sump, who seems to do pretty well with that, they could probably build you a frag tank as well. So and yes, Scott just confirmed that they are no more. So unfortunately, you can't get Deep Blue. I don't know why you would buy a company and then not sell the tank. It has a good reputation, a good name. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't something I wanted. Okay. I'm not gonna read that. Take a break and go kill some stuff. That will take your mind off all the bullcrap. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to hunting. I was actually in the tree today, and you guys can see I just refletched my arrows before I went out, and then I freaking I spined, or I didn't spine them, but I ruined 2 fletchings. I didn't mean to. I was hanging from the. I have the Mantis saddle, or actually, it's not the Mantis. It's the upgraded version. I forgot the name of it. I think it's P something. Either way, so I was hanging off the tree, and I was just shooting around a bush trying to get used to that angle because I go out and practice different angles on the tree. And I will admit I'm not a heights person. I'm okay with planes and stuff, but I'm not good in trees. I don't like trees. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm a hunter in a tree that I don't like. So I get up there and I'm taking a shot, and I keep spining these damn arrows. And speaking of that, my $700 sight, the Burris Oracle, took a shit. So I sent that back, and I got this. I got a standard fixed 2-pin with a 3rd pin that floats. And then I'm just using that for right now. So I just set a 20 and a 30 yard. And then I ordered in the Ultra View hunting sight and the AccuTouch carbon bar. So I'm excited to use that. But I'm probably going to wait till I harvest all my tags before I start trying out a new sight. But yeah, anybody who knows archery knows what I'm talking about. But we're talking about archery or in a fish tank video. You'll have that. Welcome to Fish and Hex. That's what we talk about. I like sitting in the woods. I actually went squirrel hunting on Monday. It was great. I had a great time. It was kind of rainy, windy, so there wasn't a ton of them. But I ate them. I had them with some vegetables. It was a lot of work for 2 bites, but it was still, I still enjoyed being out there. Moving on, away from the wood talk. I have a 75-gallon tank, 48 long. Okay. Okay. I have 2 AI Prime HDs. Do you think it's a good idea to add 2 bar Orphic or 3 for SPS Coral? Okay, so you got a 75-gallon tank, 48-gallon long. Yes, you have 2 AI Prime HDs. That's not a lot of light. You should at least have 4 minimum for that tank if you're going to go the AI Primes. And I would still add the bars as well, because they're not going to. It's a 75-gallon tank, so you're probably not getting a ton of penetration on those lights. I mean, they work fine on the smaller tank that's only 12 inches deep, but 75 is what? Is it 24 inches deep? I don't remember what a 75 is. But either way, you're probably going to want to add 2 more AI Primes, and you probably will still want to add the bars as well. And again, it depends on what kind of par you're looking for. But if you want to get to the bottom and then have that range all the way up, you probably need a little bit more lighting than that. Frags were from your buy one get one this week. Didn't see anything that mentioned that par was. It's in the description. I have in the description of all the frags. It gives you an idea of what my lighting is and what I'm running here. Let me see if I can even pull it up. Well, that's Pornhub. I don't want to show you guys that. So let me pull up my sheet here. Forgive me for a second. So if we pull up the website here, so this is a Forest Fire Montepora digitata. Buy one, get one free for $20. I usually sell for 24 for one. If you come down here, it tells you what my corals are growing underneath and what their par range is. This is what I'm getting in the frag tanks here. 250 to 500 par. 500 is obviously in the middle of the frag tank or where the lights connect or come together. But that's usually what I'm running. And, of course, my standard water parameters, what I'm sticking at there. And then, of course, we talk about dipping and all sorts of stuff. So, but yes, sir. So it is on the website. Acropore eating flatworm follow-up. I'm tempted to give up, but I don't want to pull the plug just yet. I'm down about 15K right now. Damn, I hate to hear you say start over. Do you think 6-month acro follow? I would tear down the whole damn tank, man. I mean, I don't know how invested. I mean, you said you lost a lot of money. So here's how I look at it, Glenn. If you leave the tank up and say the eggs just kind of egg around and don't hatch. I mean, I don't know all the scientific bullshit behind them. I know that they're awful. Okay, they're demon worms or demon, of the sea. And say you go 6 months, and then you put another acro in there that was in quarantine for 6 months, and then they come back. How about you avoid and remove that risk altogether? Tear down the system. You don't have to get rid of the sump and everything, but take all the rock out, chuck that shit in the trash, save the coral that you can save, put it all in a quarantine tank. Don't save any of the rock. Don't save any of the bases of the corals. I would inspect every piece of coral that you put into your frag tank, and I would keep an eye on it thoroughly. I would also add several wrasses to your quarantine tank, because if for God forbid if one pops up, those wrasses will be taking care of them before they get a chance to reproduce. So and then I would tear the whole system down. I would get rid of everything. I would fill it with tap water, and I would put vinegar through that thing, and I would let it run for 30 days, maybe even 2 months. But during that time, you want to re-cure some rock. So you get some more dry rock, you put it in a bin, you put salt water in it, you piss in it or whatever to start the whole process. And then someone's going to be like, Fish of X told me to piss in my tank to start the cycling process. Anyway, and then start curing your rock while the tank is kind of going through its own its own quarantine process. So that's what I would do, and then I would drain the tank out completely. I would let it sit dry for a couple weeks, bone dry. I would get in there, of course, during this whole time, clean off all the algae and everything in there to make it look like it's brand spanking new. And then I would aquascape it dry. I would fill it up, and then I would let it sit for another month or so, continuing to cure and kind of build up, good to go. And then once your parameters match your quarantine tank with your main display, I would introduce those frags without the plugs, of course, again, double checking to make sure there's no worms on them, and go from there. So it's a long process, obviously. I mean, I just took freaking 20 minutes to tell you what it's about. But yeah, that's what I would do. If it was me, that's what I would do. It's not worth it, man. So I don't know. I know money's money, but what's your time worth to you? I mean, your name's Glenn. You got to be up there in age. I don't know anybody under 40 that's named Glenn. So, I mean, just messing with you, bro. So yeah, I mean, just do that, man. You'll be fine. Somebody's messaging me. Better not be dick pics this time. Okay, I can't see that right now. Hello, Travis. Oh man, it scrolled all the way down. Give me a second to get back up here. What's up, guys? No more purple Montecap. Sad face is coming. Yeah, there's no more Montecap. I sold the last frag of it last week. It wasn't there very long. And the only reason why I had that frag was because it was just a little piece that grew over the last month or so. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here we go. Yeah, purple Monty is gone, and it will never be back. Ever be back. At least not that one. Maybe a different version. Yeah, not hang on the back, LOL. The ones that have bulkheads going through the back glass. Thanks for your suggestions. I'll look into them. Yep. Tell them the Fish of Hex sent you, Trey, and they probably give you a discount. So, hopefully they do. All right, here we go. Oh, and shout out to everybody who purchased a UV from aquauv.com and used the promo code. I just want to say thanks in advance if you are in here. All right, here we go. I agree about the low boys. I have broken 2 for 2. Yeah. I'm never buying another low boy again. I say that now, but I'll probably end up breaking one. I'm 30. I saw that coming on the other screen. I'm 33, you dick, but thanks for the suggestion. Sorry, Glenn. Oh, man. That's messed up. That's fine. I got an extra deep blue 80 if you're close to me. I guess he's talking to the other guy. Hey, Travis, I'm planning on upgrading to a new system, but I'm wondering if I should move all the mature colonies from my old tank to the new one once it's fully set up, or should I just start from scratch? If it was me, I'd start from scratch. It's fun that way. I mean, I only know one person in our community that dumps entire colonies into their main display and then starts a YouTube channel and talks like they know everything. But anyway, yeah, you just put frags in. You'll enjoy it. Plus, you'll get better. What's the word I'm looking for? You'll be able to encrust and put down a stronger skeletal structure, so you don't have to worry about them breaking off. Because if you just put a colony in there, what's the chances that it will encrust and then build that structure appropriately? So just start over, and then you can make some extra money on everything that you cut up too. What is your favorite species of reef fish? Tangs. I'm a big tang guy. I love tangs. I mean, every tang. Probably because I used to listen to Wu-Tang when I was a kid. But anyway, I love tangs. Favorite species, hand down. Love them. Mainly because they work, man. If you have a tank that has algae and you have tangs, you're way overfeeding your tank. These guys are grazing all the time. I mean, there's nothing even on the rock, and they just graze all the time. So I never have to worry about it, because sometimes I do like to mess with my nutrients, and I might get a little bit of hair somewhere. But no, you can't put anything in a 300 and ever worry about it. But it's good to know that I am able to mess with my nutrients and not have to worry about algae ever breaking out. They work really hard. They look pretty cool. They're aggressive by nature, which works well with my personality. And they're fast. I don't know. They're just good. My voice is about to go. All that dick sucking freaking wearing me out. Excuse me. Had a cough. Trying to get that. I don't know. Throat's going bad. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get back up here. What brand of bow do you have? I have a Hoyt Hyperforce 2018. It's the buck skin version, so it's like the tanner version. I have 80-pound limbs pulling. Yeah, I just put 80-pound limbs on there. So pulling 82 pounds on it right now, 575 grain arrow, and I'm using the Grim Reaper 2-inch 3-blade this year, and Axis 5mm arrows. Pretty sweet, disgustingly good. Yeah, so I'm not worried about not. I was gonna say penetration, but then I was gonna go off on a joke. Moving on. What's a military guy doing with Burris? Come on, you're better know. Well, the idea of the Burris site is amazing. The construction of it's shit, though. They have on a Burris scope. They usually have the ticking, so you can adjust your reticle by with the clicking, as normal scopes are. With this, it's a floating laser. The laser floats, which is stupid. So when I was re-ranging it, because I was getting some weird ranges on it, so I decided, I'll calibrate it again to see. I was holding up on the target, and you can see the laser moving off the target. So I've sent that crap back, man. I can't be in the woods relying on something that doesn't work that well. But the idea, it was nice. The idea was it was just amazing. I mean, I go out to 100 yards, range it. I'm like, and it gives me the pin. I'm like, that's all I got to do. It was cheating, but it was fun. That squirrel pic on Facebook was awesome until I saw you ate it. Freaking gross, dude. Yeah, okay. I talk about hunting a lot. Anything that I hunt, or fish, any animal that I kill, I eat. Period. It's just how it is. I eat as much of it as I can, and I try not to waste anything. So that's just. I mean, if you're going to take the life of an animal, you better use as much of it as you can. So, squirrel, man. Just don't eat the brains. You'll be good. Okay. Would high phosphates 0.25s cause acros to retract polyps? It's a little high, but that's nothing crazy, man. You probably start seeing cyano before you start any issues with that. Usually, if the polyps retract, it's a flow issue, alkalinity fluctuation, light changes, or maybe they're getting picked on by an emerald crab like I have. I went spearfishing for emerald crabs the other day because somebody likes chewing on my torts, and I saw him the other night doing it. Thankfully, my green poison ivy coral on the left-hand side is finally coming back after being chewed on by 2 emerald crabs for about a week. So, yeah. Just keep an eye on that. But that's not really that high. I mean, you're gonna see cyanobacteria before it really causes a problem. Hey, Hex, I feel I didn't do my cycle right. Bubble algae, that solution is fixed, but every time I beat back red slime, I think I have it dialed in. It comes back. Any advice? So bubble algae wasn't a result. First of all, bubble algae wasn't a result of the cycling process. Bubble algae was introduced via coral. It's actually, it comes in even without you seeing it. That's why I recommend that you always cut the plug off, because it could be underneath the plug and it could be microscopic spores. You're not even going to see them, and you can scrub them all you want, but they'll still come in. So bubble algae is a pain in the butt. That's why I always cut the damn plug off, because bubble algae usually doesn't stay on the flesh of a coral, at least SPS. I mean, it could, of course, stay on LPS and the bottoms of mushrooms, and they're whatever they're attached to. So, but anyway. Bubble algae wasn't an issue of your cycling, but the fact that you are dealing with red slime, you said that I beat it back, red slime, and I think I've dialed it in. It comes back. Any advice? Well, Chris, figure out the source of nutrients. Are you feeding too much? Your water, your RODI system not up to par? I mean, these are things you got to look at. So if you beat it back, what are you doing? Are you using a ChemiClear to fix that? I hope not. But because if you're using ChemiClear, that's just a Band-Aid. And, obviously the Band-Aid gets ripped off over time, and then this just comes back. So to deal with slime, red slime, and algae in general, you have to find the source of the nutrients. It's that simple. I mean, it's simple to say it, but it's not necessarily a simple process. Always start at the base, the source of water. Look at your RODI system. If you're getting water from your local fish store, that's probably your problem. I know there are some good local fish stores that have 0 TDS and are nice and clean and perfect, but that's far and few between. Most stores are just looking to make a quick buck on somebody who doesn't understand that it's cheaper to buy an RODI system, and they just keep coming in and buying water. So if you're that person, go buy an RODI system and stop buying water. And if your RODI system is good, start looking into your feeding habits, your stocking. Do you have too many fish? Are you feeding too much? Look at what you're actually feeding. Are you feeding nori all the time, which has a ton of phosphates in it? Stop feeding the damn nori. Are you rinsing your frozen food out before you put it in the tank? Like if you're getting cubes of mysis and all sorts of stuff and krill and crap like that from the local fish store, are you rinsing it out and straining off all that extra juices and stuff before you feed your fish? Those are all things you want to look at. Find the source. Don't use chemicals to fix the problem, because it's never going to fix the problem. So hopefully that helps you out. Do you stream on Twitch when you game? I do not. My gaming is kind of my quiet time, my escape time. And the last thing I want to do is socialize with people other than the people that are in the game. And speaking of that, having a little bit of a dilemma here. So I got accepted to a really good, good in my standards. It's been a few years. High-end mythic rating guild, and I as a feral druid. So believe it or not, now of course there are tryouts and the whole process. I'm also a big Mythic Plus guy. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about here, wow, I am debating on dropping the feral after 10 years and going rogue or another spec. I do like the option of tanking, because that's how I progress real quickly, is tanking most stuff to get geared quickly. But Feral's just being bent over, man. It's a pain in the ass. So anybody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking about dropping Feral and going rogue, and then doing my tryouts for Mythic with rogue. But I don't know, man. You can't tank on a rogue. DPS gets boring after a while. So yeah, I've been thinking about that for like 2 weeks, because I got to make a decision here real quick. Yeah. So moving on. Hey, Travis, I heard you mention that filling your tank with fresh water, would that be RO water or tap water? Tap water. I started a 300 with tap water, mainly because I was impatient and I didn't want to wait for my RODI system to fill it up. And it didn't make any difference. I cured the rock ahead of time. I still let it sit, and it wasn't a problem. So I must interject. Just a heads up for those of you who are coming in now, the buy one get one free coral sale. I'll make Ben Shapiro over here adding freaking advertisements midstream. The buy one get one will end tonight. So if you're gonna buy something, you want to get something free, you better do it before midnight tonight Eastern Standard Time. All right, moving on. Back to you guys. I'm 33 and I finally got to that. Shit, 8:32 on the questions and 8:43 on the time. So I'm a little bit behind. What you going to do as an alternative to the low boys? I'm having custom tanks built for my frag system. They're going to be 8 foot by 2 foot by 1 foot, maybe a little bit taller. Custom tanks from customaquariums.com. So that's what I'm looking. Much bigger, much stronger, much safer. What type of wrasse you recommend for common pests that you can get from other hobbyists or companies that sell corals? Well, any wrasse will do something. Most wrasses like Melanoris and 6-line wrasses are pretty common. They're pretty cheap, and they do a good job. But understand, wrasses are helpful, but they won't ever eliminate the problem completely. They might keep a problem at bay, but they're never going to remove it completely. They're just not, because those, say for example, you have Montipore eating nudibranchs, right? Now they lay their eggs and they live right underneath between the rock and the actual structure of the coral, and that's where they stay. There's no chance of a wrasse getting in those tight areas to get all the nudibranchs for one, and or they don't eat the eggs. And I don't know if you can even see the eggs. I haven't even dove into that yet. But I feel that rashes are a good help. But ultimately, if you want to make sure you prevent any pests from getting in your system, you need to quarantine your coral. Cut the plug off, put it on a new plug, put it in a system designated to coral quarantine, and watch it for a couple months. If you add any more coral to the system, you start the quarantine process over. That's the way to do it. Travis isn't busting your balls, Glenn. It's even Friday. Yeah. How's the promo code for? There is no promo code. That ended last week. There is no promo code for the sale this week. Sorry. Hey. Hi, Travis. My 310 gallon is bare bottom, and it's about 1 month old. My refugium has a lot of diatoms. I'm guessing because the amount of light give for the Chaeto. Should I worry about it? Nope. Don't worry about it. Just keep trucking, man. Diatoms are not an issue. When you start getting green hair algae, let me know. But I don't think you're going to get that route. You're good. You got the Rona. I'm at the point now, and I'm just going to say this. Hopefully, I don't put anything underneath my video. I'd rather live my life than be in fear or hide myself in the house. So if I get in, I die, then it was meant to be. at a 0.02% chance. If I was meant to be, it was meant to be, man. I'm not going to fucking uproot everything for that. Not see family, not go to strip clubs. I mean, I'm not going to avoid these things because of that. So, yep, here comes that stupid advertisement at the bottom of my video. The information provided in this video is incorrect. Please go see the CDC. Blah, 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 blah. Moving down. Also, there is currently bacteria bloom in the tank. Should I let it run its course? Yes, let it run its course is fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Whoops. Let's go ahead. Moving down. All right, here we go. Currently running elevated calcium and alkalinity and getting some pretty good skeletal growth, but the soft tissue seems to be a bit thin, even with amino dosing. Should I go back to running normal params? Yeah, you shouldn't be running at any extremes. You shouldn't be running elevated anything in a reef tank because when you get to those elevated levels, they don't leave much room for error. That's why we settle for middle of the road ranges here. So your acceptable range for the ocean is 7 DKH to 12 DKH, something like that. You don't want to be at 11.5. You want to stick in the middle between 8 and 9. Stay around there. That way, if something happens, you have a little bit of a leeway. All right, so you don't have to worry about being at any extreme. I would go back to normal parameters, and it's fine. Bubble algae is probably the sneakiest pest in the hobby. I can be invisible for months, then it can just appear out of nowhere. Yep, that's why you got to quarantine, man. Yep, remove, and it comes in on the disc 9 out of 10 times. It sucks. It happens, but luckily for you guys, I mean, somebody just left a pretty awesome review. I do sell a bubble algae removal tool kit, or you can buy the tool itself. Pretty freaking awesome. Had a lot of people message me. I've had some people send videos on Instagram and pictures. It's pretty sweet. It's basically a glorified version of the RO tubing that people usually use, and it has a little scoop in it, so you can get in there and it just sucks everything out. It's super nice, and you can. And the kit comes with everything: the tool, the hose, 10 feet of tubing, and also a bucket clip, so you can put the tubing through. So all that for a grand old price of $19.99. Moving on. Rogue Crimes, thanks for the super chat. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it, man. Late to the show, though. 40 minutes late to the show. What's up, Darren? What's going on with that? Oh, crap. I went down. Hey, dude. One XR30 G4 Pro or two XR4 or two XR15 Gen 4 Pros over Innovative Marine Lagoon. 24 by 17 by 12 SPS dominant. So 24 wide. 17, two XR15s. Yep. Do the two. You already read my mind, man. Do the two XR15s. That way you can manipulate the light a little bit more. That's what I do here on the 300. So People always ask, why did I go with XR15s over the 308 of those opposed to 4 XR30s? Well, for that reason. I'm able to move the light around to fill in shading, gaps. Maybe a coral needs a little bit more light, so I'll just slide it down the rail of the aquatic life fixture and spread that light out where I want it to. That's why I like the XR15s, and I'm going to go to the 15s on the 1000 as well, unless I get a super deal on the 30s, which whatever. We'll make it work. But yeah, same concept. I want to be able to move the lights around, regardless of what they are, to fill in shading gaps. So I am a geek by nature. I surely am. But it's okay though. No ChemiClear. I shortened the light time. I do have an RODI. Stocking isn't an issue. It's probably low, if anything, and I'm limited feeding. So I'm thinking it could be water issue or lack of cleanup crew. Cleanup crew is just a Band-Aid solution. Cleanup crew, I have less now that I've removed all those damn emerald crabs. But cleanup crews, I have barely anything in the 300. Okay, and like I've mentioned before, the tangs do some work, but there really isn't anything in there. And then same with the 40-gallon. I have no algae in there, and I only have a clownfish and a busted-ass damsel with a puffy eye, the only survivor out of all those. Sorry, it's a chromis. Of all those chromis that Reggie didn't eat back in the day. It's the cleanup crew is not. You shouldn't depend on the cleanup crew. I guess that's the point of the whole thing. Don't depend on the cleanup crew to take care of your issues. Again, a Band-Aid solution, just like the chemicals. So, I would say you got to double check your RODI system. Make sure it is 0 TDS, because I know people who have RODI systems and like, yeah, everything's sweet, good to go, and then they're running like 10 TDS out the DI because they didn't realize it was dead. So just double check your filters and make sure everything's good, that the membrane doesn't need to be changed. Also consider doing an ICP test just to kind of get a deep dive on the water parameters, see what's going on in there. Maybe there's something going on that you're not realizing it. Doesn't hurt to check. But based on what you said you don't really have much of a stocking. You don't really much fish in there. You're limited feeding. Well, you're getting your nutrients from somewhere. Is the rock new to you, or did you get it from another tank? Did you have it in a previous tank that had algae issues or nutrient problems? That would be my next question. Because I've learned this lesson. When I started the 125 back in the day, I bought rock off Craigslist. The rock was 18 years old, and I put it in my tank, and 18-year-old rock had a lot of mistakes, and that tank was a no-go. All right, so yeah. So double check. A lot of questions there. You'll figure it out. Is there an RODI system or setup you recommend? I buy because I'm a cheap ass, so I buy my RODI system off eBay. And then I change out the filters and make modifications that work for me. That's what I did. It does ultimately cost less than buying one, but since I have wholesale accounts, it's probably cheaper for me to buy one now, but off one of the main companies. But overall, I just buy a generic one off of eBay, and then I add the dual DI. Because dual DI, now I run 3 DIs, but dual DI is a must, as John was saying. If you're running city water, dual DI is good because you'll catch that first chamber as it dies, and then you take the second chamber, move it to the first chamber's position, and then just change out the DI in the second one or the original one and put that in the second position. That way you never, ever get any TDS creep, because sometimes we go to bed and we don't realize that our DI is about to die, and then you end up filling up an entire bin, and you got like 10 TDS in the damn thing. So, yeah, I buy a generic DI, RODI system, and just do my own modifications to it. Nice on the custom frag tanks. I'm having a 96 by 30 by 14 build this month, acrylic. Yeah, I'm not an acrylic fan. Something about plastic just doesn't seem safe. But I mean, there's plenty of tanks out there, plenty of massive tanks. Of course, some of these big tanks in these homes that have 6,000, 8,000, 20,000 gallon tanks. I believe the front glass is acrylic, because I don't know if you can make glass that thick and not have a magnifying effect. I mean, I could be wrong, but pretty sure a lot of those big fronts of those tanks are actually made out of acrylic. Can I put a Naso tang in at 180? You can. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but long term, it's probably not going to work out. They get pretty big. So good tangs for like a 180 would be something that doesn't necessarily grow that fast and get that big relatively quickly. A blue hippo tank can get a foot long, but it's going to take years and years and years and years to get that big. Also, powder blues, powder browns, sailfin tangs. yellow tangs, Scopus tangs, those kind of jokers, flame fin tang, they don't get very big too quickly. So finding something that doesn't grow very fast is a good idea. I would not put a Flamingi tang in there. Granted, how big Bertha got over the last 2 years. So yeah, you can do whatever you want, but it's probably not going to be a good long-term solution. What is your favorite coral dip and why? Since you are going to re-quarantine everything, what will you be doing and what would be mainly looking out for? Okay, so my favorite coral dip is the coral dip that I give away with every order, and that's Coral RX. I send 5 milliliters of that joker with every coral order, and I have dipping instructions you guys can use if you want. I do it not because there's anything you're going to get from me, but it's a good habit, and it teaches people to do that kind of stuff. So it's still good. So anyway, since I'm re-quarantining everything, what will you be doing, and what would be mainly looking out for? Well, I don't really have anything to look out for. I don't have any major pests in this system. The only thing that I have in this tank, which we talked about 1,000 times, are verminted snails. Now, those aren't going to come in on my SPS. They might come in on a frag plug, but again, we're going to be cutting off the frag plug, re-gluing any SPS that goes in quarantine, so there's no chance of those guys getting in there. Also, all LPS, well, there won't be any LPS in my new build. There will be a separate tank that is kind of a tribute to Brian. That will be an LPS soft coral tank. But other than that, I'll be avoiding corals that are susceptible to verminted snails, even after quarantining. As you guys know, we got them in this tank because we even after quarantining that giant Lobo for a long time, we still got them. So it's unfortunate. Now, other than that, there is no pests. I don't have any pests in here. But it's still going to be something that I do. Again, I give people dips so they can dip their corals, even though they don't need to. I'm going to quarantine my coral just because it's more of a peace of mind. If I put a bunch of frags that I really like in a quarantine tank and let them sit there for 2 months and nothing ever shows up during that process, I know in the back of my mind 100% that there's no issues with that coral if I put it in my main display. So it's more of a peace of mind for me. And yeah, same thing with my fish. My fish don't have anything, but they're still going to go in quarantine for the entire process of setting up the tank and everything like that. I still haven't decided on what fish I'm going to keep, what fish I'm going to get rid of. Big Bertha's kind of leaning towards the getting rid of because she's an animal. Well, in 2 ways. She's a fierce animal, and she just destroys colonies because, oh, there she is on the screen when she was a biddy. She's just a giant piece of fish meat that likes to destroy everything. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my process. I wish this would, there we go away. No, maybe not. I'm waiting for this freaking thing to go away, but it's not. Nope. Come on. There we go. Never mind. All right, moving down here. We're going to talk for a few more minutes and I'm heading out. So, hey, thanks for all the good info and tips. My second tank, which I took all your advice, has had nothing but success. Can't wait for the new setup and the new things to come from you. Yeah, hey, appreciate it, man. Getting a lot of people emails like that lately. A lot of people saying that they're starting to see success after watching the channel, and that's the kind of stuff I like to hear because it's good motivation for continuing. As you guys know, I haven't been putting out a lot of content. I actually been putting out some live streams lately. Like I did my very first live stream fish room update the other day. Never done one of those before. Felt kind of weird. I mean, live streams are the lazy way of creating content. If I'm making live streams, that's because I got too much shit going on and I still want to get content out, but I don't have the ability to sit down. I'm about ready to get back to making regular content. But anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of new stuff coming and hopefully a lot of new videos. Moving down here. Oh, you had to take your girlfriend in for knee surgery. All right, well, you're forgiven this time, man. Just don't make a habit of it. You got to be here on time. What acro is your number one pick for the new build? Oh man, I don't have. There's so many acros that I like. And considering we're probably going to have, I don't know, 200 or 300 different colonies between the 300 and the 1,000, if not more than that. There's a lot of them on the list. Let me say this. I guess whatever one grows the fastest and makes me the most money. And it's usually not higher end that grow really fast, unfortunately, but it's okay. Do you know why affiliate torch skeletons look skinny or dry? Okay, that's how mine are, kind of skinny skeletons, like they need something nutrients. Well, double check your alkalinity and your calcium levels. Make sure they're in the appropriate range. I'm not the number one source for LPS information. I really don't know a lot about LPS, mainly because I don't have many of them, and they're just not my forte. I just like SPS. It's just kind of how it turned out. I don't know why I went that direction. I just like them. Yeah, I mean, double check your water parameters. Are they like shrinking over time? Were they thicker at one point, and since they've been in your tank, they're shrinking? They seem like they're getting skinnier and dry. If so, then yeah, you want to double check your alk and calcium, make sure they're in a good range. On your next build, are you going to get the filter roller in your new sump? Yes, I do plan on getting the filter roller, but I will have a backup underneath it tray for filter socks, because who knows how fast that filter roll is going to be used up with 2,000 plus gallons of water, if not more, going through the same sump. So I can imagine that it's probably going to fill up pretty quickly. And if I want to go back to filter socks, I want to be able to do that. So. But yes, I definitely want to try that out. I'm always up for trying new things, and that's been on the list. So we'll give it a shot, see how it turns out. Hey, Travis, what's up, man? What salt do you use and why? I'm trying to figure out a good salt to go with. I use Fritz Blue Box. I've used this since the beginning of this tank. Never used anything else. And I use it because the water parameters are pretty stable. They have a good amount of potassium in their salt, which is nice. Even though I do dose potassium, it is nice to have it in there already. Yeah, it's a good salt. I have no problems with it. Now you could ask other people what they think, but we're not going to get into that because there's not enough time left in this stream for me to go off on that. Anyways, off topic, but what wireless router do you use? I just bought a Netgear AX8 piece of garbage. Everything dropped and buffering. I'm using the one from what the hell is it? It's the one that comes from Xfinity. It's their brand new freaking, I can pull it up here. X-Fi router, Xfinity X-Fi. That thing's a freaking animal, dude. I have all my printers hooked up to it. I mean, I have all my security cameras. I mean, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 security cameras. All the printers, which is 11 printers, plus all the computers in the house and devices, everything doesn't miss a beat, man. So Xfinity X-Fi router seems to be works pretty good. I have an aquatic life fixture with 4 Kessel A360Xs over 150 gallon, and I have excellent growth with SPS. Well, cool. Glad it's working out for you. Not my forte, but I'm glad it's working out. If it was not a water issue, would I be crazy to get a frag tank for my coral and taking my tank down and starting over? Is that crazy? Well, I don't know, man. I don't want you to throw too much into it and then get overwhelmed and then, give up altogether. It's much harder to keep a frag tank alone stable opposed to a main display. So, I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know where route you should go. I would try to find the issue. I mean, if everything is checking out and it's not your water, it's not your feeding habit, it's not your fish stock, then all I can think of it is it's your rock. Is your rock old? I mean, did you take a dump in it? I mean, where'd you get the rock from? So, I would look into that because the thing is rock in our reef tanks, they're sponges. They absorb everything in the water column. And if it was in a tank that had a lot of algae or excess nutrients and was an issue, you bring that over to a tank that doesn't have those issues, it's going to leach from the rock. And now, of course, it depends on how long that rock was in their previous system, how long they had issues. I mean, there's so many different contributing factors. But, yeah. I wish I could give you the right advice, man. I mean, double check everything and then see if it's the rock. All right. Hey, dude, love the vids. My phosphates are at 0.015, nitrates at 2. I have green hair algae starting on the rock. How to get rid of this? Well, that's not what your nutrients are really at. If you have green hair algae in your tank, don't even bother testing your nutrients. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. If you have algae in your tank actively growing, your nutrients are high, period. Find the source. Go see previous answer if you were here for that. Check your water, check your feeding, check your stocking, all that kind of stuff. And then manually remove the green hair algae if you can. If you get it out of the system, and you keep your nutrients under control, you'll be good to go. But yeah, if you see algae, and nutrients are most likely already elevated. If I have learned anything from my recent experience, I would say QT for way longer than you think you should. I agree with that 100%, Glenn. All right. I was going to hum a song, but I don't think that's good. Are goniopora difficult to care for in a 10-gallon nano tank? How many more corals should I get if only doing water changes monthly? You currently have 5. Well, it depends on how experienced you are. Goniopora overall are not a very difficult coral to take care of as long as you have stable water parameters and a good amount of flow. Is it fine in a 10-gallon tank? Yes, I've seen them with no issues with that. Now, is it good for you? I don't know. I don't know anything about you. I don't know how long you've been reefing. I don't know. I mean, there's people that say they've been reefing for 25 freaking years and can't grow anything. So, I mean, who knows? So, yeah. You'll be fine, man. Just, I mean, if you want to try out a little piece, you go ahead and just make sure your water parameters are stable. Okay. We're going to do a couple more minutes. How many questions we got? Well, we're getting caught up. Sweet. I'm trying to burn through these real quick and then get out of here. What kind of corals are you going to import when everything is set up? Aside from SPS and LPS, I hope lots of beautiful zoas, hopefully, and extensive as gorgonians. Well, I import everything pretty much. Whatever I can feel that I can get a decent profit margin on. Thank you for whoever put an order in. Whatever I can get a decent profit margin on is what I'm going to import. Of course, the imported stuff is primarily focused on for beginners, or primarily for beginners, because you guys are looking for the zoas, the torches, the hammers, the frog spawns, all that LPS and all that stuff. So I'm just going to bring in whatever is kind of, again, a good profit margin and still allows me to keep going, because you got to think I got to pay a salary, I got to pay for the coral, I got to pay for all the shipping supplies, taxes, all that good jargon. So I got to make sure that if I buy a zoa rock, of course I want it to look good, but I also want to be able to make money on it, or there's no point in doing it. So there's a 90% chance that we'll have a imported system up within the next couple months. Now everything's subject to change, but that's just so I can bring in those things while we're tearing down the 300, because it's going to be getting kind of sad when I'm just tearing down colonies out of the 300 and I don't have a lot to offer people, because we are running out of things to sell. There are things like that purple Monty that's just gone and it's never coming back. Right now the Setosa has only got a few frags left. I got to finish cutting those up, and then stuff like the Spondones, for the Montipora Spondones, that's going to be gone completely too. So I think it is actually. So there's a lot of things that are just going to be gone, and I will worry about getting more of those down the road. Of course, some of the stuff that I have a hard time getting, I'm going to keep a frag up for myself. But yeah. Anyway, long answer for that question. So. Keep doing what you're doing, learning a lot from your streams. I appreciate it. Actually, the live stream you did the other day was really cool. I think mixed in with some content of your system is really good. Yeah, I was trying something new. Again, live streams are the lazy man of content, lazy way of creating content. I mean, the Q&As are something different. This is just a specific Q&A. This allows you guys to kind of interact with me and go through this whole process. But doing general content as live streams is just a lazy way out, and I personally don't like that. I just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. No question, but I just upgraded my 55 with a hang-in-the-back overflow to a proper 120 with a drilled. And the day after I set it up, my unit gets activated to help with the Cali fires. Pray for my tank. Yeah, well, good luck with that, man. Fuck Cali fires, man. Fuck that whole state. It's awful, man. God. People, man, just move the fuck out of there. Anyway, I'm not going off on that. Any tips on aquascaping the same 300 dimensions as yours? Don't do pillars. Pillars are not a good idea, especially if you're growing a lot of coral. It just doesn't work out. Okay. Hey, Travis, I learned today from a super reliable source that Prazi Pro is an extremely effective coral dip for any worms. Have you played with this before? I have not done that. No, sorry. Okay, I'm trying to burn through these real quick. We're going to head out here because I got a date with Sheets, the store here. I'm going to get myself a turkey sub with lettuce, tomato, pickle, and maybe onion this time. And I make homemade pickles for all y'all watching me on Instagram. I make some banging spicy pickles. That's what she said. So I'm going to put that on my sandwich. I don't smoke weed. I swear to God. I just get the munchies midstream and I got to leave and go eat something. How are you able to keep a wrasse without sandbed? He sleeps in the rock structure. No problem. All right, let's see what else we got here. Did you figure out what I was saying on my order today with the 10 plugs and the box? Yes, I figured it out, Glenn. When it came in, actually, right before you send that order in, I got an email from somebody asking if my 3D printing was buy one get one free. So I figured this was part of it. So it didn't say who the email was from. It was just a contact form. So I thought that was part of it. So I wanted to clarify. But I'm good. I'm going to start on your order tomorrow for all that good stuff. And what wrasses could I keep in a 180 gallon with a Melanoris? Maybe a yellow course, a 6-line. I'd pass on the 6-line. Yellow course, definitely. Yellow course wrasse is fine. What the best way to buy acros for resale? The best thing to do is buy them and grow them out yourself. Buying acropora colonies, and then it's a pain because if you're getting acropora colonies, they're probably from the ocean. They're not established to our tanks. You're going to have a chance of pests, which are a huge issue. You've got to quarantine all that crap, which you're going to lose money on that. And then you got to cut the coral up, and then you're going to have a good chance of death, especially for colonies that you're bringing in. Your best bet if you want to make money selling coral or acropora, grow that shit yourself. That is the best way. I mean, my tank isn't even empty yet, and I paid for it 3 or 4 or 5 times over already from just selling the coral that's inside of it. So if you guys are, if you're having issues with your job because of COVID and all that crap and you don't know what to do and you can grow coral, grow SPS and start selling it locally or trade it with friends or find a way to make some money with it because it's a great way to make money. It's a great hobby. You just kind of have to, be a little smart about it. Callie just needs to fucking float away. I have a lot of friends in California, and actually one of my moderators is from California. I have a lot of great friends that I talk to, and all of them want to leave. So, just if you're going to leave, make sure you keep your boating habits there. Don't bring none of that nonsense shit over here to the red states. Just saying that right now. Anyway, we're not going off on that because this is not what that channel's for. Anyways, last thing here. Sheets is great. Try the jalapeno, I call them japalinos. Ranch on the turkey is great. Might try that tonight, Salty Reef. Anyway, that's it for the live stream, guys. We did good. An hour and 11 minutes. We had 92 people at one time. Appreciate that. Again, last time I'm going to say it, the sale ends at midnight tonight. Buy one, get one free. The prices are relatively going to stay the same for the most part because we are just trying to make some room, and I want to hook you guys up getting into that season. So anyway, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody being here for the live stream. You guys were pretty decent today, and I didn't go off on any crazy rants. And, I'll talk to you guys later. All right? Peace.